Hey guys, the Gaming Geek here and welcome to episode 25 of the weekly roundup. Let's get started. So the first piece of news this week is to do with Dell, and Microsoft are apparently in talks of investing between 1 and 3 billion in the company. That would actually give Microsoft the controlling power over Dell, meaning that they could maybe make some more in-house stuff rather than making the software and companies like Dell, Acer, Asus, etc. making hardware to go with their software. They could probably make full-on devices like Apple does in-house, which would be good for them, I guess, in the long run, because they can kind of control the price of devices and stuff rather than only getting money out of the software. They can make a whole package like Apple do and control their markets a lot more. This also could be good as, of course, Dell also has Alienware, which would mean that maybe when it comes to making good consoles, they could take what they do with making PCs, although Dell don't make the best PCs in the world, admittedly. They could put what they know into making a really, really good console, because, you know, making a good console has to really come from somewhere, and the PC market is definitely somewhere that's more, let's say, advanced than the console market. So by able to use that as maybe a reference point, you can make a really, really good console. But what do I know? I guess we'll have to wait and see what they actually do with this, and whether they actually bid at all or take an investment at all, because, you know, it's all in talks at the minute. Dell may do something to put Microsoft off, but the chances are it's going to happen. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. So moving on to talk a little bit about PlayStation. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, well, you should remember really, the hacking that went on the PlayStation Network quite a while back now, but it's still having effects on Sony to date. Now, you know, some information was apparently possibly taken, but no credit card information, according to Sony, was taken. They have no records of that, but it definitely caused a mass of destruction to the company and to the users that wanted to go on the PlayStation Network, and it was over the news for quite some time. Now, there's always something lurking, waiting to pounce onto Sony after this, you know, to try and get back at them for, you know, creating this disruption, putting people's data at risk, and it's coming from the UK this time, and it's from the Information Commissioner's Office. They're saying that Sony really should have been better. They should have known better. They should have better things in place to stop this hacking group from being able to access some of this data. Even though Sony say that no credit cards or, you know, sensitive information was taken, maybe things like, you know, passwords and email addresses were, but nothing really, really crucial. The UK is still saying, well, this isn't good enough, and they want to fine them £250,000. Admittedly, that really isn't that much, really, in the terms of a corporation like Sony, but, you know, they're not doing too well as it is at the moment, so any amount of money, you know, 250,000 is still nothing to, you know, to ignore, and it could make quite a bit of a difference to the company that now they're being fined. They're appealing this, of course, saying that, you know, that they tried their best to stop it, and it wasn't, you know, trying to basically say that they're not to blame for the hacking. Of course, you know, it's difficult, you know, to say whether they were or not. You know, every company can always do better. You know, they weren't the only company that were affected by Anonymous or any other hacking group, but, you know, they maybe could have handled it better, or just been a bit better with their security in the first place, because according to the hackers, you know, they were a bit, how can I say, absent or a bit silly in the way that they went around their security. Of course, they've improved it now. They say that they've got the same securities they have in banks. Who knows, because they haven't been hacked since. I don't even know if anyone's tried them since, possibly, but as I said, who knows. And this is coming to bite them back. Do you think Sony really need to be fined again for this? Do you think it's still something that countries like the UK or wherever should be fining them for putting this data at risk? Or do you think really it should just be left to lie now? You know, Sony's been, let's say, punished enough, and they've had to already spend a lot of money, you know, not only, you know, apologizing to the users by giving them free content, but, you know, security doesn't come cheap, and I'm sure it's cost them an awful lot of money to do the improvements and the investigation and all this thorough stuff that they've done already. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. So now moving on to continue to talk about PlayStation, but more in the future. Now, I've been talking about the next-gen consoles quite a few weeks in a row, and some apparent specs have come out for the PlayStation 4. Now I'm going to read out these specs. I'm going to be reading it from my phone, so if it looks like I'm reading it from my phone, I actually am, because I'm finding it hard to remember everything on top of my head, and I'd rather get it right, read it, then try and remember it and get little bits wrong. So, the specs. This is apparently from a developer kit, so things like the hard drive space and the number of Ethernet ports might not be quite right, because, as I said, it's a developer kit and they tend to be custom made for the developers, and the consumer ones tend to be a little bit different, but the core hardware items will most likely be the same. So these are all rumours yet again. May not be true, but it's most likely going to be on the right track because it's been backed up by some other sources that we've heard in the past. So the specs are as system memory of 8GB, considerably more than the PS3. Video memory 2.2 gigabytes. That is definitely a big improvement. Some say more than is really needed because the PS3 had 1/4 of a gigabyte and this is 2.2. So very, very big upstep. It's more than my current PC has in graphics RAM, and that runs pretty well. So you may be thinking well of the future. The CPU is a 4x dual-core AMD 64 Bulldozer, so in real terms 8 cores. The GPU is an AMD R10XX. It is, I think it's the 7970, I may be completely wrong. It's a modded version. All the console graphics cards are modded versions of consumer graphics cards. They're not exactly the same because they're made custom for the consoles. But AMD seems to be the one that's being chosen at the minute rather than Intel. Or, sorry, NVIDIA I meant. And it's a bit, different. NVIDIA were more leading the previous gen and now AMD. So hopefully it's not a sign that NVIDIA are moving away and creating their own thing. That's what could be happening. Or just AMD are creating the better products and doing the better deals, which may also be the case. So we've got the AMD R10XX. The ports on the console is 4x USB 3.0. Now this is really good to see, because if you want to plug in an external storage or anything like that, 3.0 is considerably faster than 2.0. And although 3.0 isn't used that much at the moment, these consoles have to last for about 6 years. This one could possibly last longer with the kind of specs they're putting into it. So it's got to be future-proof, and 3.0 is the future, and by, in 5 years' time, 2.0 will probably barely be used, because 3.0 is backwards compatible, so why would you not use it? So 3.0, and as I said, 2 Ethernet ports. Now, it's most likely there'll be 1 Ethernet port, because 2 is a bit too much, and it's normally what they use on dev kits, so that you can have 1 internet connection maybe, and 1 that goes to a server with all the files stored onto it, or connected to a local PC, or to another console. So that is, 2 times Ethernet port is, and very unlikely to be on the retail version of the console, but it's still cool to see. The drive Blu-ray, as we would expect, it's Sony's, it's Sony's format, and Blu-ray is still very, very good. It still can hold a lot of information, and we won't need any more than a Blu-ray disc can hold, I think. Hard drive 160 gigabytes. Now, yet again, 160 is what's in the dev kit. I'm expecting much bigger hard drives on the retail versions, because you get the minute you can get 500 gigabyte PlayStations. You're likely to see them kind of thing, at least, if not nearer a terabyte on some of them. Yet again, that's just my opinion. It may not be maybe not be true, but this is what I'm thinking. Audio output and video output. HDMI for video output. What you'd expect, it's the standard pretty much now. There isn't any new type of connector. They're all really running off HDMI. Optical, and those are both the main, optical and HDMI. They seem to they'll be getting rid of the old analog audio output, which is just fine, because I don't know who's using them anymore. And it supports audio of 2.0, 5.1, and 7.1 channels, which is really good as well, so you get full surround support. And that's all the specs that are on there. They're still going down the people are still rumouring that although the dev kits, people are saying that they are using the DualShock 3 and the Move and things like that, but they're still saying that possibly this touch controller is in the making, although no one said one way or the other. A Sony representative, or the head of PlayStation, said that they're waiting until Xbox announces theirs and then making their move. Why would you show your cards first, is basically what he was saying. And I don't know, that doesn't make quite much sense to me, because your console would have been in the making for years now, and you can't exactly change it depending on what Xbox is going to do in a short period of time. I think it's maybe just him being a bit full of himself, maybe going, yeah, we want to see what they're doing first, maybe, although I can see the way Microsoft are doing it, and then maybe market theirs in a way that kind of looks at more of the good side of theirs and tries to persuade people to go with their console rather than the Xbox. So maybe it's more of a marketing thing than anything else. But some other PlayStation representatives said that what he was saying was a bit unfair on what the company's wanting to do, and maybe not quite true. So who knows? But those are just the rumor specs of the console. I just have two small pieces of news just to end the episode. The first one is that if you want to try out Origin on the Mac, it's now here in the form of alpha. You can go and try that out for free, play some Sims games. You have to buy the games, obviously, play some Sims, play some Battlefields or whatever that's on the store right now. I'm not quite sure exactly what's on there, but there's a limited amount at the minute. But you do get a free game. You get a game called Bookworm. It's made by PopCap Games, and you can get that just for trying out the alpha version, so pretty cool. If you have a Mac, go and check that out. And the second piece of news is that Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is currently running an XP weekend, and you can pop on for the whole weekend and get double XP, and yeah, rank up your guns, rank up your classes, and all that good stuff, and have fun at the same time, or just rage, as a lot of Call of Duty players do. But thank you guys for watching the video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, as it really does mean everything to me. Kind of, you know, perks me up and go, you really did enjoy the video. Leave any feedback in that comment section down below. I read through everything, absolutely every comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. But as always, drink tea and game on.